Okay, gonna give you a real-time look at the foolishness that happens when you're dealing with what I call borderline alienation. It could be any form of alienation, but when you also mix in the term borderline, like it may or may not be for people who are uneducated on the matter, and also include the fact that the personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, is kind of mimicked here. We come up with the borderline alienation that I like to call it. So today I'm going to pick up my kiddos for our exchange. There's really no need to go and even have any contact with the mom or her paramours. If you're unfamiliar with paramours, Paramours is the spelling, look it up. But there's multiple men involved in this situation. Nonetheless, don't care. I'm just there for the kiddos. We can get in, get out, get the medication bag because my daughter is still being treated for a couple autoimmune diseases. She did have a bone marrow transplant, two of them last year. So that adds a little bit of complexity to it. But nonetheless, we've got some exchanges in Talking Parents, which I made sure that we did early on because when you're dealing with someone like this, they're going to lie about everything. And they'll place it in document form and try to make it look like they're telling the truth or they're this awesome type of person that's just so kind and compassionate. But the evidence will show otherwise. And if you ask questions, their house of, I guess you could say, toilet paper starts to melt and fall apart, and then they turn on you and get angry when you ask those questions. So let's take a look at what did she do. That's mine. This is one she sent here. I will pause it for a second to see if there's anything that I don't want to disclose as far as like private addresses. All right, so check this out. We've got her message here. Hi, do you want us to drop off the kids? See you this Friday. This is a game as well. She hasn't dropped off the kids at all this year. Complained about doing it previously. She'll drive to someone else's home that she's involved with, well over an hour and a half away, but won't bring the children to where my residence is and was. So I was like, you know what? Just roll with it. You're not gonna disturb me. You're not gonna upset me. You're not gonna destroy me. I go pick them up and drop them off. The judge is aware of that. The reason we're going through this is because there's no order in place yet. So they tried to put off trial for the longest, and motions to keep doing this and that. The last hearing we were at was wonderful. I told you about that previously in another video. But I'm like, Your Honor, like there's no reason to even go to this parent coordinator mess when they don't want to negotiate. Like, let's go to trial. And he agreed. But now the mom is saying, oh, the address you gave the judge, I'm gonna block that for a second. Do you want us to drop the kids off? This is a game. But the goal is don't get trapped in understanding their game. You cannot talk logic or be logical with someone that's not using the logical part of their brain, whether we're talking about a mental illness or a spiritual onset mindset. I believe there's both, not just in this case, but in all of the cases when you're dealing with this type of person that wants to alienate. Some people call it narcissistic. Some people say it's borderline personality disorder. I say probably all of the above, but the traits are there. Nonetheless, I just respond back with as minimal words as I can while still addressing the issue so that if it's brought up later, I can have that piece of information in the document in court. Hey, I'm going to be filing charges against you if you continue to persist with harassment. Trying to come to the residence where the judge says, hey, Mrs. Tynes, if Mr. Torres shows up at his address for any reason or at that address, I'm going to assume that you gave it to him. I don't care how he gets it. And the attorney was there as well as Mrs. Tynes, she was there. So this is, I don't care what it is too much, but I know the game of trying to, one, they want to agitate you, get you out of your element. They need to feel something from you. They need some type of conflict and chaos. Hey, I'm just going to pick up my daughter and my kid exactly where they're at for their camp today. Make sure I give a visual, stop attempting to instigate fights. She's trying to bring other guys involved with it, as well as to the hospital clinic visits for my daughter. Bringing that dude's child there is just like, come on. Like, when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense. So you can't. You almost have to block that out or block it out. Fight on your knees and war in the spirit. That's the only way you can expedite this situation. So hey, I asked if you wanted us to wanted to drop the kids off as a courtesy. Come on now. But courtesy in how many months now? Almost a year of not dropping the kids off. Still not dividing any assets, still causing or intending to cause financial devastation to me. It sounds like you're saying you don't She wants to get me there and saying, hey, I'm telling you not to drop them off so that when we go back to trial, she could say, hey, I tried to, which was a lie, but I've got proof that every time I've asked her to, she's declined. It's too far, it's too this, I'm not going to do that. And I've had to go out of my way to take care of my kiddos and pick them up. Let's see here, what else? Something about there's no pulmonary visit today. It was rescheduled, which I know. Getting her to state it as well, so that when I go to get my kiddos, there's no reason that she should have to have already picked them up, move them somewhere else, because what she tries to do is create a conflict when one of her paramours gets off of work, staying at the marital residence in Largo. But if I get there early enough, 3:30, we can get the medicine bag exchanged and be gone. That seems to just eat at her. And I'm not trying to bring anybody down or paint this person as a villain. I believe that they're experiencing a medical crisis, but at the same time, when pedophiles move into a different neighborhood, we alert the neighborhood. When pedophiles have committed a crime, we alert the neighbor, not just the neighborhood, but the city. When you're dealing with someone who's just not behaving in a way that is healthy for those around them, now you can hurt yourself all you want, but when you're doing it and it's affecting people around you, then there has to be light shed upon it. Otherwise, it continues, and then you end up with these big expose stories on Dateline or whatever. It was like, look at this cult leader, or look how far this abuse has gone with the I forget what that sex cult was up in New York, and they had the girl from Smallville on there. But when you don't shed light on darkness, it grows and it festers, and at some point, it's gonna get exposed. But I want to minimize how many people get hurt, not just with my situation, but also with your own. So minimum words as possible in responding. Let me scroll down. So there's no secret. I fight on my knees. I follow Christ. That's the way I approach it. Everything. I'm also looking at the cadence of these words here and how it's phrased. I know from 15 years of knowing this individual who now goes by her maiden name, almost like someone checked out and a new person checked in, like a completely different entity, but the base of that person is still the same. The phrasing of these words look and sound and read just like her sister Donica. So I'm looking here, she's talking about this guy. He's super chill, like she doesn't talk like that. Never has, never phrased, and you can look inside of the Talking Parents whole transcript. I think it's over 500 pages now. This is how her sister talks. Talk about Michael, the brother-in-law. Well, once again, that's another paramour. Both of these guys were staying there around the kids, and there's evidence that I have that can prove it, a lot of it. But I'm trying to hurry up and breeze through this so I can get back to doing what I'm doing. He has a right to escort me to visits. No. Why are you bringing dudes that you're hooking up with to your child's clinic visit? Nonetheless, I've been taking my daughter to all of her clinic visits for the past couple months. This past, Tuesday, she decides to finally come to one. And that's only after I got to cross-examine her in court, and the judge made her not give a evasive answer. Hey, who's been taking her to the visits? Have I not been taking her? Oh, you were there. And the judge was like, no, not was he there? Did he take her? Yes. Like, once again. So there's a strategy involved with this that makes sense in her mind. I know it's not just her, it's a whole group of them, unfortunately, because when you start growing up in an abusive home, like from a third world country, blah, 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 a lot of times people don't want to get help or shed light on what hurts. They want to keep it going, enable it, and they get upset when you leave the group and say, hey, that's not okay. It's never been okay. Nonetheless, he has a right to escort me. No, he doesn't. There's security at the hospital. If you really need an escort, those people are certified and qualified to do it. I'm the one that calls security because this man has made threats and hostile movements toward me. Please don't be angry. Give him a come on. Like, you're over here committing adultery and all types of other stuff, like completely different lifestyle. You've gone from being baptized 30 seconds before me to now playing with shamanism, witchcraft, and all types of other Wicca, this, that, another. Do you, but you don't push that on anyone else. Don't be angry, blah, blah, blah. I'm not angry. I've just set some boundaries. I've stood firm, and God has been fighting for me. It's been awesome. We're finally getting to trial. 2 years of representing myself out of necessity, giving it all to God and submitting to His plan. Now we're here. This looks like a retaliation and a new strategy based upon what just happened at the hearing on Friday. So, hey, I'm not even listening to any of that. Very direct. Aviana's medication bag is to be dropped off at camp with her. Cease trying to create moments of unnecessary interaction. That's between her and her paramours. I refuse to play your game. I'm addressing, hey, I see the behavior and I'm not going to play with it. So I'm not feeding into this back and forth. I'm not getting upset giving her any type of supply. I'm saying, I see what's going on. I'm calling it out and I'm telling you to stop. Here's the boundary and here's what's going to happen. I refuse to play your game. I do not accept adultery and decline to participate in the lifestyle you all have chosen. Her sister was the first one that said, hey, actually, when she got caught in adultery with her husband, not with her husband, against him, she's the one that said, you know what, we're in an open relationship now. And he just went, oh, okay. That's kind of what they want from the men, unfortunately, that they come in contact with. But hey, I don't support that lifestyle. I'm not going to participate in it. This thread is only for children exchanges. Remember, they'll try to get you off on a tangent and have you fighting over here and drowning when you really needed to be right here focused. It says child exchange. That's what you wanted it to be, right? Okay, so let's keep it there. This thread is only for children exchanges and is now closed. I recognize the verbiage and cadence of this message is not Veronica Times. I'm letting you know. I know that she has given her account to others to log into and try to respond for her. As a matter of fact, at the last visit, she was barely able to function in the room by herself, constantly like she's trying her hardest to deal with something that I truly believe she needs help with. And it doesn't make her a bad person to need help, but you will be accountable for your actions if you refuse it. Let's see here. So it's, hi, Josh YMCA cannot keep the medication bags. They told me blah, 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 blah. That's a lie. I will let you know when I'm home today. That's her way of saying I'm not going to participate in being there at 3:30 p.m. like I should. I drove by the last time and found her not there. I went and parked at a local, was it the rec center, just so we could use the restroom. And then she comes around and goes and hides in the back of the building. Doesn't realize that me and my son are in the car and see her. And she's refusing to give the medication back early because she wants some type of conflict. It's not gonna make sense. Don't make it make sense. What did you do to deserve that? First of all, that's the way abusers think. That's ignorant. I did nothing to deserve that. This person, why are they feeling that it's acceptable to communicate and act this way? Where are you staying this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. Once again, she sent people to my residence before. She has no need nor right to know all of my comings and goings, especially when this lady has taken the children illegally to Puerto Rico, taken the children outside of the radius illegally to Key West. These are things that are just games that are designed to get you upset. Block it out, forget about it. Please remember, you've been ordered by Judge Bodle. This is a lie again, and I love it when this type of person lies on record, because they're going to lie. They're not in control of their ability to not lie at this point. They're gonna lie, and you have to take good documentation. Don't document everything, but when they do, like this, I can now submit this to the judge, and I can put it side by side with the order. Now, I'll view the order that the other attorney wrote up and see if she wrote down exactly what he said, or if she added something else to the order. Once again, that order has to be signed by the judge, and then you got 10 days to appeal, at least here in Florida. Disclose the location that you're going to, location to me going forward, just as I disclose to you where I reside, blah, blah, blah. Smokescreen. The truth is not in you. Once again, I'm not going to go back and forth with this person. I'm also going to come at it spiritually and scripturally. The order is for the children, basically saying, hey, that's a lie. Truth is not in you. The order is for this. Correcting that and be done. Now let's go take a look at another one. So this is mine, and we're going to look at maybe this one as well. Let me pause once again. So we've got documentation of this Jose guy at the hospital and foolishness going on. He's clearly there, can't be removed from any type of surveillance or anything. Like, he's there. So now there's a message here talking about, hey, be kind in the presence of blah, blah, blah. The enemy will project their junk onto you. They'll call you all types of names: narcissist, schizophrenic, abusive, bipolar, like all of these things. And yes, you have to have mental toughness to understand who you are and who you are in Christ, but listen a little bit, because they'll be telling you something about themselves. Like, in the presence of Jose and me and blah, 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 and triggered. Hey, don't use profanity in front of my child is exactly what I said. And every time they get away from cameras and other viewers, that's when they flip the switch. So we're not dealing with someone who's not able to control themselves. This person is intentionally being, uh, there's probably a better word for it, but acting demented in a sense. All of this stuff here, I'm letting you read it later. You could probably pause the video, but it's smoke screen. These are lies, and I recognize gaslighting. When you try to make someone go, wait, is that what happened? No, this is not what happened at all. She brought not only the paramour, but the paramour's child to the visit, and immediately I'm like, all right, security, come stand in. And he's trying to go on the elevator with us. If you're really just there to be there, first of all, it's the middle of the day, like 9 a.m. Why the heck are you there? You got nothing to do here. You've already been told to stay away. Why are you instigating? Why are you there? Enough, Mrs. Tynes. Remembering, hey, I'm not going to play the game. You're not even an Alexia. You're still legally married, still Mrs. Tynes. And you still want to keep it that way to have some type of control over the situation. Clinic visits are for parents, not paramours. Mark 422. I'll let you look up what that says. Hi, I really would like to blah, 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 coordinate, co-parenting. Lies. You've had 2 chances to mediate. You also tried to file a motion demanding that we got a parent coordinator and continue to try to drain my funds. And the judge and I both agreed. It's like, hey, this is stupid. You don't want to negotiate. You don't want to co-parent. You're just wasting time. My words, not his specific words, but the judge agreed and denied the motion. So this co-parenting thing, I don't know who it's for or what it's for, but it's not going to stand in court. Maybe it's for someone else to look at. She does try to contact people that know me, friends and family, and say he's this awful guy, he's doing all of these things. But then when they ask her questions and refuse to comply with her demands, they get blocked, usually on Facebook. This is not just specific to me. This happens to many people, not just me. They're going through the exact same thing. So allow me to go to the next one. So here's the other message that I started, the thread, because this is the format that I use and the format that I actually track in this date format here. So hey, per usual, I will pick up Aviana and Josiah Tynes today from their camp facilities. Do not interfere. I will pick up Aviana's medication bag at 3:30 p.m. You have to set a hard line, a boundary, something that is definitive, instead of, hey, after work, or you leave it open to them and they can run with it. 3:30 p.m. You're usually home by 3:30 p.m. You're done by 3 at work, if not sooner. It's completely feasible and acceptable, and we have other messages proving and showing that. So since you refuse to leave it at her camp, because that's something that she can do in the morning, just take the bag and leave it with them, and they don't open it, don't do anything, they just leave it as one of her belonging bags and bring it with her. You know how I know? Because I do it every time I drop her off. And the camp, whatever lady I talked to there was like, hey, anything we can do to help? Just a bag. If you refuse to do so again, like she's done, you will meet us at the Largo police station. Like, I'm not going to the residence. We don't need to keep doing the stand in, keep the peace officers for all the foolishness and then try to have them pretend like nothing's wrong with them. Why do you have multiple people coming out during a children exchange when they're not even related to the child or the matter at hand? If you want to go logically, there's a motive. Deliver all medications. Why do I have to say this? Because when you're dealing with someone like this, who I believe is also modeling certain behaviors like spiritual behaviors. Hey, when you command a spirit or someone who is demonically influenced to do something, sometimes you got to be pretty specific. Hey, deliver all the medications, not just give me the medications, because she's done that with taking medications out. So you have 1 pill or 2 pills here, or barely enough to get through the weekend, if at all. Deliver all medications, doses, and interventions. Specific and clear. Stay calm. Hi, YMCA cannot keep medication bags. This is her trying to change the record on paper. Once again, I know it's not the truth, so one could also say, hey, this is a form of gaslighting as well. Maybe there's another term for it, but I know that this is not true. This is a lie. I just come at it, hey, this is not true. I'm not going to go back and forth. This is a lie. Aviana's medication bag, it's green with white stripes now, since she's decided to not use the medication bag that I gave. And it says medication bag in big letters written on it. Guess who wrote it? Not me. So either her mom or one of the people she's with, but it says medication bag all over it clearly. And that's what I respond to right here. Now we're going to talk to the case in point about, what did she say about being a nice guy and being a kind guy and super chill and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not true. Let's just take a look at one of the videos. And the question comes, and this is just my body cam, why is this individual coming out and why is this individual trying to circle around behind me? You got the wrong one. Don't play with me. If you continue to threaten me, I'm going to handle it appropriately. But I'm not going to let anyone hurt me or my children. It's just not the game we're going to play. But understanding the way that I fight, once again, my spiritual weapon always comes first. Spiritual weapon always comes first. Before anybody tries to get all, nope. I'm going to command you in the spirit and in the name of Jesus Christ. So that's what we're going to see here. Josiah, do you want to go? Yes or no? You sure? Okay. Feel free to speed it up if you want. Talking parents, letting them know, hey, I'm here. I'm dropping off my son because he's sick and he can't go with us to this medical visit. This was not disclosed to me. Many times I don't get to see them on video connection because there is something that the mom is trying to hide, like being out of the country or being, not out of the country, out of the state, or the fact that they're sick or not doing well. So let's speed it up. I get out of the vehicle, have my son open the door, or unlock it rather.
Oh, like that was on.
Let's not forget this. Come on, son. His nose and stuff. I love you very much. Hang in there. I'm proud of you. The date at the bottom is correct. The body cam thing that's never said or reverted. Come on, just stay here. Is there something you need to go in there for? I don't think so. We gotta go. Minimize any type of issue. We're not getting Chick-fil-A tomorrow. She said, I want my Chick-fil-A card. I'm like, we're not going to Chick-fil-A at all. We're gonna be fine. So here they're coming out. I'm going to the other side of the vehicle. Everything is tactical and strategic. I rotate my camera around, my dash cam to see. Anybody? They also try to intimidate by using their own, what is that, cell phone cams. Josiah? I don't care, don't mind. Not only is it a public space with no reasonable expectation of privacy, I'm not doing anything unlawful or wrong. So you got people over there. I'm checking the medicines to make sure they're still there. Mom goes around to the back for some reason. Stay back, sir. You've already made some threats before. Stay back. Next time we're gonna get the police involved for a stand-in since you wanna cross that line right there. You're too close. You're too close, sir. You're too close, sir. So I'm gonna pause right here. He's intentionally coming around. He's too close. There's no reason for him to be there whatsoever. He's gotten out of the way of the dash cam. And I keep telling, once again, I'm trying to talk to a person. Then I remember and Holy Spirit comes in. All right, now it's time to command this person and this entity to move. And you'll see after all of this talking and telling him to move, what happens after I command him with authority that God's given me. Jose Antonio Romero Torres, leave. Leave. Is she still doing prednisone? This is me talking to the mom. Is she still doing prednisone? Not because I don't know, because I don't know if she's been doing it or not. Verifying all medication is there. You can see the medication bag. You're blocking the vehicle and my exit. In the name of Jesus the Christ, I command you to stop and cease. That spirit of witchcraft and divination, I command you to leave in the name of Jesus. Go, now. Go. The Lord rebuke you. So there's more backstory here. Once again, I told you their mom went from being baptized 30 seconds before me to now being on all types of witchcraft, shamanism, Wicca, Her sister was heavily into it long before her and even enjoyed practicing some voodoo, tarot cards, whatever. You're dealing with something spiritual. And I think the videos, as they continue to go on, will highlight that and help other people see that this is a battle that's spiritual first, not spiritual second, spiritual first. So you've got adultery, you've got witchcraft, you've got perjury, you've got lying. Let's talk about Malachi. I will be a swift witness against perjurers, what it says first, sorcerers, adulterers, perjurers. I believe that's Malachi chapter 3, verse 5. If not, I might have switched it up, reversed the numbers. But that's what I'm dealing with here. Someone who refuses to move. He's not moving only because I'm getting in the vehicle. What you can't hear is that their mom, the kid's mom, also tells him, hey, you should move now. But after I command him to move, now he's moving. He still doesn't have to move. I could end up having to back up, but I also put it on the audio record, hey, you're blocking my exit. You need to move.
Go, enough. Thank you for moving. Move.
Here are the vehicles in the driveway. There's a medication bag, you can see it. I've got my body cam on because for the most part,
you don't
it
argue
will
with
calm
demons.
them down.
And you don't argue with people that aren't acting right.
Don't argue with them. But
Are
I don't
you buckled
believe,
in?
I think they don't believe that the body cam
Are you
is on
buckled in,
because
yes
they
or no?
haven't seen the footage yet. When they do see
You
the
need to
footage,
buckle in,
I
kiddo.
think they're going to act a lot more calm. This is me here realizing Aviana doesn't have her seatbelt on. She got out the seat earlier. Say, hey kid, you got to make sure that's on.
Oh, yep.
There we go.
Until he sees you, he's gonna take a video.
And unfortunately, my kids have to see this. They're aware of it. She say, every time he sees you,
Here you
keep
go.
doing that. Question is, why is this individual involved? Why is this individual here? If you both are so friendly and there's no issue. And there's plenty of other body cam footage of exchanges with no incident with their mom involved only. So, this is my experience of what I call borderline alienation. I'm not the only one. If you've got a story that needs to be shared and you want to get some feedback on it or kind of just get it off your chest, hit me up, let me know. I believe it's important to discuss this. I don't take anyone's word as face value. I will ask questions and see if there's any hole in your story, because I know the kid's mom, once again, she's come with the victim story. She's the victim. This has happened to her. People are so controlling, so mean, and it's like, well, you're the only one doing all the instigation and agitation. Like, wait, so if this person is so awful, why are you still pursuing them? This is in the beginning when she was trying to tell two pastors that I know that I should do everything that she wants me to do and stop resisting, essentially. So I think that's enough for this video. I wanted to do it real time because it's really hard to make time to go back and do it. This is what I'm going through. We'll see what happens later. Hang tough, hang strong. You're not the only one in there, and make sure that you fight on your knees.